Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All right, fellers and fellerettes, if y'all are tuned in right now listening, we are very lucky to have the lead vocalist, the former lead vocalist for Kansas. I know y'all have listened to Play That Game Tonight, Fighting Fire with Fire, and on, and now he's got a brand new release, Stronger Now. John Elefante, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How you doing, guys?
Man, I'm just tickled to death you joined us this morning. I guarantee it. I've listened to you sing for years, and absolutely, I can normally do the low parts, but when it gets to the chorus, I run out of air. Man, I ain't got the range. I love it.
Man, I don't know how you guys do it this early in the morning. This is the middle of the night for me.
Yeah, I know you're a rock star, man. We know how y'all do, man. We roll all night and sleep all day.
I don't think I've been to bed before 3:00 a.m. in how long I can remember.
So, I'm at 8 o'clock, man, I'm done. At 8 o'clock, 8:30, I'm through. I'm done. I'm in the bed.
I'm wide awake now, though, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, good deal, man. Well, man, I did not realize. I sat and looked at your bio on the stuff that you have done over the years, and it is just unreal. The songs, the music, and the bands that you've been involved with over the years, and you're still going at it, man. I mean, how does it feel at night when you are in the morning when you go to bed, knowing all the accomplishments that you've made?
Well, I don't think about them too much, but it's usually when I'm working on a record, I go to bed with a song in my head, and I just can't get rid of it.
Right.
It makes it hard to fall asleep. But accomplishments, they are what they are. I mean, I'm glad that I won Grammy Awards and Dove Awards and all that stuff, but I'm always excited about the newest project I have and hoping it does well and that it will resonate with people.
Oh, that's unreal. That's like, okay, when you actually went to apply, I guess it would apply or audition for the lead singer for Kansas, you went up against some big dogs, Sammy Hagar and all the rest of them. And this is at the time when Kansas was at the height of their career.
You know what? I didn't even know that when I was auditioning. I had no idea Sammy Hagar was, because I knew Sammy.
Right.
And I had no idea I was auditioning against him.
But
he's a great singer.
But you, up at that time, you'd pretty much just played with your family and family bands, and then went straight to Kansas. Was that not nerve-wracking, or did you just?
Oh man, it was monumental. It was like if you had asked me any band in the world I could join, it would have been Kansas.
Yeah. So
next thing I know, I'm in the band, and it was an out-of-body experience, man. It was quite a run.
Well, nowadays Kansas would be considered a country band because they had a fiddle in there, so.
I think they say violin, but fiddle works for me.
Yeah. Well, down here it's fiddle. It all depends on how you pronounce the strings. It's either strings as a violin.
I'm in Nashville, so yeah, it's a fiddle.
Yeah, it's a fiddle. So, anyway, but now you got some new stuff that you're releasing now. And I love this new song you've got. It's
Stronger Now.
Yeah, Stronger Now. That is a absolutely great song, and you're fixing it. Is this released now, or is it coming up in the next few weeks?
The single's released. The record won't come out until April 22nd.
So now, are you ready to head out and start touring again and promoting this? You're looking to get it back out on the road. You know how hard that is.
Well, I'm out on the road quite a bit. But we'll know in time whether it's time to tour this record. We're going to see how it does and what regions it's doing well in. And yeah, man, if the opportunity arises, I'll go out and tour it.
Yeah. Well, now you've got, of course, the rock, and then you've even got into some hard rock at one point, did you not?
Oh, yeah. Love it all.
And then Dove, you got a Dove Award. Definitely didn't get that from the hard rock.
No.
So what do you like performing the best? Do you like the hard rock or?
And you know what? I like just pure melodic rock.
Mm-hmm.
Straight down the middle, just melodic rock. Genesis, Kansas, just straight down the middle, man.
But it seems like everything's kind of getting, I guess the music's kind of watered down nowadays. Seems like everything kind of sounds about the same. But I'm like you. When you heard Kansas come on, you knew it was Kansas. You heard Boston come on, you knew it was Boston. It's like the different groups. But nowadays, it's hard to tell till they actually start singing the song. Do you feel like that's kind of where we're at?
I couldn't agree more. And man, when I hear some of these singers pumped up with vocal tuners, it's just I can't even listen to it.
Yeah, I'm with you because
You know what I mean?
back then you had to sing. You didn't have all that kind of stuff, and nowadays
Heck no.
they even got people that tell you how to dress. Man, that's crazy to me. It's like, where are these jeans? you don't have.
I got a story about dress. When I was in my teen band with my brother and my cousins, I was about 14 years old. We were recording at Capitol Records,
Right.
and Danny Thomas was in the studio over.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was a real stage mom. She went, "Oh, you got to come over and hear my kids." She had this New York accent.
Yeah.
"You got to come over and hear my kids sing. They're right next door. Come on, come on." She brought Danny Thomas over, and he heard the song we were recording. And we had just come in from the big room back into the control room, and Danny Thomas said, "You guys are fantastic, but you got to get outfits. You need outfits." I'll never forget that as long as I live.
And you had visions of the Osmonds, didn't you?
Oh yes.
Oh, man, I'm all about.
And guess what we did? We got outfits.
Oh Lord, you got pictures of that somewhere? I mean, nowadays everybody's got pictures. Back then, nobody really took that many.
Oh, we got them.
Yeah, you got them locked away and hid.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh Lord. Well, now this new album you got out. Tell us how that all come about.
You know what? It took place during the whole COVID era, man. It was like
Right.
lockdown, man. I mean, I was locked in my house, and I said, "Hey, it's time to make a record." And a friend of mine in Scottsdale, Arizona, him and I he really pushed me to do it. This guy Frank, and I mean, he's the executive producer on the record. He paid for the record, which I'm forever grateful for.
Right.
And co-wrote some of the songs, and he really pushed me into doing it. I wasn't planning on making a record, but what a better time when you have to stay home locked in your house, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
You know, and the song is I mean, the record it's a reflection of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Right.
But you know, I had just a lot of things going through my mind during this whole COVID thing. I'd never been through anything like that.
I'm with you, man. It was just like, I mean, you know, I didn't have no friends come by the house anyway, but I got to where I wished I had a few, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody just sat at the house. You didn't want to go anywhere or anything like that. And then nothing. And you know, another thing that's kind of sad, a lot of the music venues have closed down permanently because of that.
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah. And
things are opening, you know, thankfully they're opening back up. I mean, a lot of the venues are opening back up. But like you said, a lot of them here, even in Nashville, closed down.
Well, now,
we're good.
City of Grace. I haven't heard that song. Tell us about City of Grace. That just sounds like a cool tune.
City of Grace is just, you know, it's kind of a reflection of what me and this guy Frank were going through, and you know, you just think it was such a morbid time going through this whole pandemic,
right?
You know, and we just pictured ourselves walking into the City of Grace where we no longer have to worry about pandemics and all this stuff going on, and you know, it was you know, just a metaphor for, you know, walking into peace and tranquility, you know, as opposed to all the garbage of the pandemic, you know.
Well, I'm seeing, you know, we've talked to a lot of different people, and a lot of folks just like you that are songwriters. Yeah, it's something that y'all do. It's not something that you try to do. It's just like you say, you get it stuck in your head. You can't go to bed at night. You got this thing ringing, and you have to write it. But during the pandemic, I'm looking for a huge release of new music, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a turning point. I think this is, because I think music goes to a point where it gets watered down, and then all of a sudden, all this great stuff comes out, and it just skyrockets up. You know, I know we got the Red Dirt Country coming out of Texas right now that's rocking and rolling pretty hard. And but I'm really looking forward to a lot of this, just like, you know, the stuff that you've coming out with, and I'm sure that you're friends with other songwriters and this, that, and other. Do you have a lot of friends around that actually are in the process right now of releasing new music they've wrote during the pandemic?
Absolutely. And you know, nowadays it's a lot different. There's so many different outlets to release your music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, with Spotify, and you know, you put your stuff up on YouTube. I mean, people have actually made it big by putting, you know, posting their stuff on YouTube. Excuse me, we didn't have those outlets before.
Right.
Either had to go through a record company, or you didn't have anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you can build up your audience or your fan base through social media now. It seems like everybody's doing pretty good, and a lot of people won't sign anymore because of that.
Absolutely.
And that because that's where the record label, as far as distribution and that, and is where that come in at. But and another thing I think is great, like what you're doing now, you can release what you want to release, and you don't have some record executive say, no, we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna shelve that one to later, and this, that, and the other.
I love that part of it.
Right. So how do you think, I mean, what do you think the record labels are going to do? You think they're going to change it all? I mean, you think this is something that they're going to say, wait a minute, we got to back up and punt a little bit?
I think they're starting to embrace bands that are, have a big social media following.
Right.
I think they're succumbing to Spotify is one of the new ways that people listen to music. And of course, it's always going to be driving in your car on the radio.
Right.
That hasn't gone away. But no, the whole record company process is completely different now. It's not nearly as it used to be. They used to give huge advances to make records and use huge advances like athletes just to sign with their label. And from what I know, all that's gone.
Yeah.
Unless you're Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and I ain't built like her at all, so I can forget that.
Me both.
Yeah, no doubt. So let me ask you another question. You was involved with the Sound Kitchen, which is a very famous studio in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't care.
I'll tell you, we moved from California, and we wanted to be in Nashville because it's much more of a music town, of course. And our proximity to players and record companies was a lot better when we moved to Nashville. So we bought a piece of dirt, 2 acres, in a place called Cool Springs, Tennessee, which is about 20 minutes south of Nashville. And it really everything felt new and kind of like California, and we liked it there. So we built about a 10,000-foot 2-room studio.
Right.
And it got so busy that my brother and I are having to go downtown to record our own stuff. Because if somebody's paying you $1,500 a day and you're just in there using it for free, I mean, it's better to let them pay for it and go somewhere else, And so we had that going for about 3 years, and it got so busy, we added on another 15,000 square feet, and we eventually had 7 studios under one roof.
Wow.
And we met Springsteen, The Rising, he did part of The Rising there.
Oh, wow.
Bon Jovi recorded there, Julio Iglesias, Faith Hill. I mean, almost all the country music stars were using our facility. It was really great. It was a great place where musicians would hook up together in our courtyard, and it was the place just really had the synergy, man. It was cooking.
Right. Well, I know everybody was. I mean, back then the Sound Kitchen, that was it was a common name in music. I mean, that was I'm looking at some Brad Paisley, Brooks and Dunn, Carrie Underwood, George Strait. I mean, Donna Summers. You've had everybody in the world in there recording. Yeah. And so now, did you sold the Sound Kitchen? Is it still going, or is that?
It's still there. A guy bought it. We sold it, I believe, in about 06 or 07.
Right.
Because my brother and I started seeing a trend that really was troublesome to us, that people were building their home studios because technology was getting so much cheaper.
Right.
And, for $30,000 or $40,000, you can have this set up in your house that could do the same thing as what cost us, $1.5 million to build.
Right.
So we saw a lot of business going home to home studios, and I told my brother Dino, I said, as technology gets cheaper, this is going to put us out of business. And it's kind of come back a little bit to studios, but at the time, man, I was scared. I told him we better sell.
Well, I'm with you on that because nothing lasts forever. I'm a total believer in that. And like you say, I know a lot of people that do record in their basement. They've got the studios in their basement. And
I have one.
Yeah, and now with technology, if it's like I'd call you up and say, hey man, can you play a lead break on my song? I can just email it to you. You play the lead break, send it back to me. I mean, it's that easy nowadays.
That's what I did on my new record.
Mm-hmm.
I was never in the same room with anybody.
So now, who all do you have playing on the record?
A lot of Nashville guys that I've been using for years and years. Dan Needham on drums,
right.
Dave Cleveland on guitar, Anthony Salee on bass. These are all players that in the Nashville musician circle that everybody knows, that are really, really great, versatile players, and guys that I just really like. And we use this thing called audio movers,
right,
where I can hear what they're doing in their studio perfectly through my speakers, and I could talk back and forth with them in real time.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like them being in the same room with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, because of the pandemic, there was no getting together. You know, everybody was scared of getting near each other.
Yeah.
But it worked really well.
But you know,
very well.
You're talking about recording, you know, a lot of the younger artists that's coming up, and there's a lot of people out there trying to make it. Oh, I'm going to be big time. They don't realize how hard it is. They like the bling bling of the sound kitchen. Now, let's just say I recorded this in the sound kitchen, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And honestly, I mean, the stuff that you've got in your basement is as top quality as you can get. And I think, you know, I think the recording studios are going to stay around, but I think it's not going to go with the professionals as much as it is kind of the younger artist that's coming up that wants to have the, you know, the feel of being in a studio. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
Well, yeah, because in the old days, you used to get a $250,000 recording budget.
Right.
You know, bands are lucky if they can get $5,000 now.
Right.
$10,000 to make a record. I mean, the budgets are really, really small. So what a lot of people do is they'll take their money, they'll take the money from their record budget and go out and buy a bunch of gear and record it at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Folks, we're talking to John. Just go to johnelefante.com. He's got all the stuff on there. Got a brand new album coming out, and y'all have listened to him over and over. I mean, you have been involved in so much different stuff, and a huge fan of you, man, and your voice.
Thank you.
And the thing about it, you do it without a voice box, I call them, you know, it makes you sound good. And that's, you know, I don't know. I always think about like Milli Vanilli, you know, when they were out there singing and their CDs started skipping. What are these people going to do when they're out there and the power goes off, you know, and it's, you know, they sound like Bruce Springsteen one minute and then they sound like trash the next, you know.
It's kind of like the Nutty Professor when he lost his voice, you know.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. So anyway, but you know, I'm gonna tell you, you have accomplished so much. I mean, just like the Sound Kitchen, that was a huge deal. The hit record you got, the Dove Awards, and all that. I mean, you were out there doing it, and I can't thank you enough to come on. We're gonna support you, and you know, but you know, here's something else before we go. You've got these songs that's coming out, and you know, we talk about Spotify and all that kind of stuff, but you know, the music, the money in the music, like you say, even on your royalties have gone down tremendously. I mean, have you seen that?
Of course.
What are we going to do? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. What dig ditches, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, the revenue has, and the, you know, the income from record sales has gone way down. I mean, I'm not sure what musicians make on each play on Spotify, but it's
very little.
Very little.
Yeah. Very little.
I think the money now is in live performing.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That still has maintained it pretty high.
Yeah, but it's like anything else. You got to have a following, you know, to get out there and make any money with that. And so, you know, a lot of these younger artists is trying to come up and do that. Of course, they try to get in front of people like you know, and your audience and that kind of stuff to build their audience. But I don't know, man. It's a funny place we're in right now, but I'm looking forward to all the new music. I love that new song that you've released so far, and
thank you.
Can't wait to the rest of it. And you get out and get to tour and let us know. Are we leaving anything out? I mean, we're leaving everything out. You have been involved in music so much, but, you know, we're just got a few minutes here to talk because we're live radio. We got to get to break. But are we leaving anything out that we need to touch on before we go?
I would just like people to take a deep dive into the new record. It's pretty cool. There's a lot going on.
It's very cool. And your voice, that's the thing, man. I mean, you've got a beautiful voice, and I'm not.
Thank you.
And I don't see how you hit the high notes. I mean, honestly, I just don't see how you do that. But hats off to you.
I don't either. In about 2 hours from now, I'm gonna have to warm it up and get going.
Yeah. Do you do like fa sol la di da or la 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 la?
Well, you just start singing and you just keep reaching for the high notes until you can get there.
Yeah. Lord, mine starts squeaking and I'll just give up. I'm gonna stay with Don Williams. That's what I can sing. I can sing his stuff all the way through. But anyway, John Wayne, we sure do appreciate it. Love to have you back on in a day or two, see what's going on with this, and you get out on that tour. We're gonna be there, definitely.
Hey, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it,
man. We love you, and and all your family, man. Your whole family's involved in music, and we appreciate you all because we're a big, huge fan of music. We actually play your Kansas and all that right here on Heart, Soul, and Rock and Roll, and so we sure do appreciate you, man.
Well, appreciate you. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care. Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.